Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the elusive granny square. Um, I want to show you this granny square. I crocheted this, gosh, probably 10 years ago, and I use it for a coaster all the time. We're going to make this granny square, and I'll give you some tips and tricks. And this is unedited because I just don't edit my videos. I don't have time. On making a good granny square. And I know a lot of people I've seen as they make granny squares, and you can just keep adding to this and make an Afghan if you want to. Make a big square Afghan, or make a scarf and like sew some together. Or granny squares are so versatile, and they're kind of like the foundation of crochet. A lot of times this was really all that everyone made was a granny square. So this is my granny square that I've had for a long time, and I use it every day, sip my cup on while I'm working. So let's talk about how we make this. Things you're going to need: scissors, a hook, and yarn. You will need, and I have this little thing, it's like magnetic, which is nice, it holds all my needles, but you will need a needle to weave in the ends unless you want to use your hook, and I'll show you how to do that. So this is a size H hook with a size 4 acrylic yarn. So this is just standard yarn, and I have two different colors here because I'll show you the contrast. We talked about making knots earlier, so I'm just gonna make my knot. You can do this in a magic circle if you want to, but again, you're gonna need to make sure that you knot that magic circle, because if you don't, as soon as you wash it, it's gonna come out. So we talked about tension before. Make sure you have good tension on your yarn, and we're gonna chain 3. So let's do this together. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 chains. Now we're gonna slip stitch into this first chain. Now slip stitch is you put it through the stitch, yarn over, and pull it through. Now you have a little circle. Okay, now we're going to be making double crochets, and our chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet. So we need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to make a double crochet, and we want to go in the middle in the hole where we made the loop. Don't go, let me show you a little closer here. So this is where we slip stitched in. So that's the stitch. You want to go into the actual hole where the stitches go around. Okay? So we want to go in here. The first one is a little difficult. So even for me, I've been crocheting forever. There we go. You might have to look at the back so you can see the back. It's in between all those stitches, and it's right in that hole. Okay? So we're going to make a double crochet. So we yarned over, and then we're going to pull through, and then pull through twice. That's your double crochet. So we technically, and I know this is the chain, but we technically have 2. So here's 1, 2. So granny squares usually always, the standard granny square always starts with groups of 3 double crochets. Well, it stays with groups of 3s. So there's 3 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 2 chains, and then we're going to do another set of 3. So this is going to start making our square. So here's the first one. Here's the second one. This might not turn out really great because I'm trying to do this through the video here. 3, okay? So there's your set of 3, and then we're going to chain 2. So we do 1, and I just kind of pull that yarn around and keep crocheting around it, and then whenever we finish up, I'll kind of tuck it in. There's 3, 1, 2. Okay, so we have our next set of 3 double crochets and 2 chains. So we have one more, so it's going to make, just count them out, it's the sides of the square. So there's 1 side, 2 side, 3 side, and now we're working on our 4th side. And you just keep on going around in that circle. So now we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then chain 2. And now remember, our chain 3 is our first double crochet, so we're going to go into the top of that first double crochet or first chain, whatever you want to call it. And I try to get like a couple stitches, but 1 is fine. And we're just going to slip stitch. And then there's your little square. So that's the foundation for your granny square. Okay, you just crocheted around in that little circle, and each one of these little openings is where we're going to add more stitches, so then it's going to just continue to make a bigger square. Now for contrast purposes, I'm going to change colors to the green. You don't have to change colors, you can stay with the same color if you want to make all one color of a granny square like I made this one. So totally up to you. But right now I'm going to fasten off, and to do that, this is how I do my fasten offs. I chain 2, and then I cut, and then I pull, and then I pull the knot tight. I do this because I knot every beginning and end of my work. If I don't, I found that whenever you wash it, it comes unraveled, and now you have some work with a granny square that's coming unraveled, and now you have to like either take it all out and replace it or something. But I knot everything. None of my work has come apart. So now if you're staying with the same color, you're just going to turn, and we're going to work in that. But I'm going to start with this color, and then I'm going to start here. So let me find the end to this. I got 2 ends here. Okay. So I'm going to make my knot. And then if you change colors, I'm going to slip stitch. Now at this point, I don't really care if I work in my ends. I can weave those in later. Not too worried about that right now. So I'm just going to slip stitch this on. And then, now if you haven't changed colors, you can go ahead and start following me again. If you have changed colors, just slip stitch this on, and then we can move on. So we're going to do chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That's your first double crochet. Now we're going to do, because we do sets of 3 double crochets with a granny square. So here's 1 crochet. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. All right. So, sorry, I'm trying to pull my yarn out so I don't have too much tension on my yarn. So now we have 3 double crochets in this opening here. Okay, So because this is a corner, now we're going to do another chain 2 so we can keep the corners the way they're supposed to be. Okay, so now we're going to do another set of 3. So every corner from this point forward is going to have 2 sets of 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3. See how that makes a corner? All right, so now we need to do this set, but in the next round we're going to do another set of 3 double crochets in the middle of this here, so we need to make space for that. So we're going to chain 2. So every time between a set of 3 double crochets, you're going to chain 2. Between every 3 double crochets, chain 2. Okay, so now we're going to do another set of 3, and if you just continue that logic, you'll always get the perfect granny square. So, and there's 3 double crochets, chain 2, always chain 2. Okay, so this is a corner, so we're going to do 2 sets. 1, 2, 3. Chain 2. See how that makes a square? It just automatically does. Okay? So now we're going to go a little faster here. There's 1, 2, 3, chain 2. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. Now we're at the next corner, same thing. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. All right, now we're at the beginning, and see, here's our chain 3. At the top of that chain 3 is our first double crochet. So at the top of the chain 3, we're going to slip stitch this together. Now if you're going to change colors, we're going to fasten off. If you're not going to change colors, that's fine. Just stay right here for now. So we have our corners. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off and change colors. So I chain 2, cut, and pull. And then tighten my knot. Okay, so this is what your work should look like right now. A nice square. And if it doesn't and you're having trouble, just comment and let me know, and you know, I will be happy to try and help you in any possible way that I can. So you can see those chain 2s. Okay, so we're going to turn. We always turn for a granny square, and then we're going to add the next color. Or for those who haven't changed colors, just stay right where you are for right now. And then we're going to slip stitch in here. Slip stitch it on, just like so. Okay, so now we're all going to continue together. If you've not changed colors, then start from here, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So because this is not a corner, we're only going to do the three double crochets. Okay, so there's one, so the chain counts as a double crochet, so there's one, here's two, and here's three, chain two. And now we're at a corner, so we're going to do the two sets of 3 double crochets and chain 2. Okay, and it's just the same thing repeating over and over again until the square gets as big as you want it. So there's 2, 3, chain 2, there's 1, 2, 3, chain 2. Now this is not a square or not a corner, so we're only going to do one set. Corners, you do 2 sets of 3 double crochet, chain 2. The other ones you only do 1 set of 3 double crochet, chain 2. So we're only going to do 1 set. So there's 1. Oh, see, I split my yarn there. That happens. That's okay. 2. And I keep doing it because I'm trying to watch through my video screen and it's not working very well. Okay, 3, and then chain 2. Now we're at a corner, so we do 2 sets. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. Oh, missed it. 1, 2, 3, chain 2. So this is just one set because it's not in a corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 2. Now we got a corner. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1. Split the yarn again. 2, 3, chain 2, and now we're at the beginning. And we do the same as we did before. This is the chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So we slip stitch into the top of that stitch, chain 2, and fasten off. Now if you're only doing one color, don't fasten off, just don't chain 2, just stay right there. Okay, so this is what your granny square should look like right now. You should have a nice square, and technically you could really use either side as the right side. It doesn't really matter because we keep turning, and depending upon your look and how you want it to look on your product, or if this is all you're going to do, then either way is totally fine. So if you want to keep adding, you just continue to do the same things. Each one of these has one, so the chain 2 will only have the one set of the 3 double crochet, chain 2. So then you'll 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then in here you'll do the set of 2. So you'll have 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2 in that same spot, and then you just keep going around. So you can turn it and then just keep on going if you want to. Now to finish it off, and I'll go ahead and finish it off if you want to do this. Now this is this piece here is so versatile. You can just leave it as is. You can add some edges on it. You can do different things however you want to. Now this one, if you can see, I added a row of single crochets just to kind of finish it off for this coaster. And this one has been used and washed and all kinds of things, so you can see that the holes have kind of gotten a bit smaller, and that will happen over time. It will change a little bit as you wash it. But if you want to finish it with the single crochets, then you can turn it and slip stitch, and then for each stitch do a single crochet, including the chain 2s. So in the chain 2 space, do 2 single crochets. Do a single crochet in each one of these. In the corners, I would do like 1 and then a chain 1 and then 1, or you could do 2 single crochets, a chain 1 and 2 single crochets, however you want the edge to look or the corner to look. Some people do like a little picket, and so it kind of has a little bump on it. Those look cute too. So I know this video is a little bit long, but I just want to show you how I weave in ends really quick on one of these. I'm just going to pick one. So this, and I get a needle, something similar to this. Some people use them that are blunt ends, and that's totally fine. I just grab whatever's closest, to be honest. I don't really care. Some people have, I've even seen some people use these types of needles, and that's totally fine too. I got a bigger needle in here and then some smaller needles for some embroidery, but so let's thread this. I'll show you a couple different ways you can do this. You can do it with a needle. You don't have to have a needle. Now this one particularly, I started like over here, so it's already kind of in there, but I don't go back in the same spot. I like kind of go over it or even under it or around it, and you can go in here too, just someplace that's going to be a little inconspicuous, and then I try to go around as far as I can back where it was and pull just a little bit, but don't pull tight to the point that you're making your work pucker. And you want to kind of pull and make sure that it's pretty loose, and then I will weave it back in on itself a third time. And the reason I do this is I used to just do it once, and every time I would wash it would come out, and so like the little ends would start poking out a little bit, and I didn't like that look in my work. So if I weaved it twice, sometimes it would poke out and sometimes it wouldn't. But if I weave it 3 times, I've never seen them poke out. So that's just been my experience. And you can do it any way you want to. It's your work. You finish it however you want to. So there's that end weaved in. Now another way you can do it, and so we'll take this one. You can take your hook, and what I would do typically is put it through these stitches, so you can see, hopefully you can see these stitches like this. Put it around your hook and pull it through. So that kind of hides it, and then pull it through a little more. So I would pull it through here, and you can see, okay, and pull it through there. So now it's running from here around to here. Now if you want to pull it back through, you can, or you can clip it right here. That is completely up to you, but again, I like to make sure that my ends are like really weaved in really, really well. So probably what I would do is I would go like this, and then hook some of this brown in here so that it doesn't get like mixed in with the green and like look weird and have a little brown on the green. So Let's see if I can do this here. Because believe it or not, the work is a little bit tight, even though it doesn't look that way. There we go. And now pull it through. And I have grabbed some of the previous one. There we go. So doing with the hook, that's probably all I would do, just because it's like a little more difficult to get through the stitches, because the stitches are pretty tight. And then just make sure that your work is even there and nice, and then you don't even see the end in there at all. So, but that's how you would finish your work. And then even the ends, like some of these, you can't really like weave it through the top. Sometimes I would take my needle and I would like weave it through the bottom to the bottom. So I would go through this top stitch here and weave it till I got there, and then start weaving it in and out of those bottom parts of the stitches, because it's easier to get in and out of there. And then cut your ends off. So that's what I would do with this top stitch. So I would put it through like the top of one of those stitches so that the knot goes inside there and you don't see the knot on the edge. And then just weave it down to the bottom, and then just weave it back and forth in that same color. So if you try to weave something into another color, you may or may not see it through there, depending upon how tight the stitches are. So, but that's your granny square. Let me know if you have any other better tricks or tips or ideas. Happy to hear them. Would love to try them. If you're having problems, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you. Have a great day.